Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and I'm Felix, and it's been a while since I've done this format of I would say format of tutorials because it, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and I'm not promising to do the entire study guide, but it's just like a guidance for a beginning, just like it's an icebreaker for you not to be too worried about how to go about it. So welcome to this session. We're going to be talking about what they put in study unit 1 of AIN, just as an icebreaker so that you can at least take it forward and hopefully attempt and get it right at attempting it. I'm using a study guide. I think it's a 2022-2024 study guide, and I'm sure you can access the study guide. I'm gonna put the correct name in the description, and I'm sure you can access this guide on Teams, it's Telegram. You can access it on Telegram groups. You can access it on study notes. You can also access it, I'm sure you do have it from your MyUnisa or whatever formatting that they would have chosen to give you this. So let's start. So with this particular study guide, we're starting with the fundamentals of system and information systems. So they bring you an organogram there that they just want you to like at least understand what is happening there is just an introduction to what is what. So we'll quickly jump to I think it's bullet 2 where they're talking about a system. So they go by saying a system is a set of two or more components that serve a common purpose and interact to have a common goal. So for you to get a clear understanding of this is like look at it from the end, from the way that they write this definition. Okay, so the purpose of the entire thing that is happening is because we have a common purpose that we want to achieve, or we have a common goal that we want to achieve. So in order for us to achieve that common purpose, and in order for us to achieve that common goal, there are two components that are brought together. And it will make sense as we go down and they talk about a close and opening. So you just have to understand that whenever you bring two components together in pursuit, two or more components together in pursuit of a common goal or a common purpose, you automatically have what they call a system. So that would be an entire system over there. Another thing that they go on to talk about is you have your input, processing, output. It's a bit unfortunate that they didn't put arrows, but it was going to be easier for you to look at this thing with arrows because input is there at the beginning because it's the starting point, and processing, then from the processing we have an output. I'm going to paint this for you in an accounting sense so that at least you won't get confused at all. You're going to notice in your other studies in your FAC, you're gonna be required to populate journals. I think it's FACO 1 and FACO 2. You're gonna be required to populate journals, your cash receipts journal, your purchases journal. You're gonna be having your cash payments journal. You're gonna be having your salaries journal, your sales journal. Pardon me. Yeah, purchase return journal. So all the things that you will be imputing information into those journals, right? So when after you've imputed the information into those journals, the information in those journals is then cast into your ledgers. Then into your ledgers, we then have an output, which is your financial statements. So basically, we have receipts and evidence of transactions, which we find at the beginning of the accounting cycle. And that is now, that is what is now fed into the accounting system or the system of accounting in another way. That is what is now fed as part of the input stage. When you then move it to a trial balance, from your trial balance, you're moving it to your ledgers, from your ledgers all the way up to now, that is now the processing part. And at the end of the day, you now have your financial statements, which becomes an output. So basically, that's what's there. So a system, you're going to have 3 points. You're going to have the input stage, you're also going to have the processing stage, and you're going to have an output stage. So they go on to talk about open and closed systems. So the open and closed system, I like the example that they gave there because they're talking about a system that operates in isolation. So a system that will be operating in isolation is like your washing machine, as they talked about. So your dirty clothes, which you put into the washing machine The washing machine processes them, then the washing machine gives you clean clothes. So basically that will be like a closed system because it doesn't need any other thing. You don't need to connect your heater, or you don't need to put a stove as an adjacent to the washing machine. It stands alone. That's what they are talking about when they're talking about your closed systems. Then you're gonna have situations whereby you have your open systems. So your open systems, those are like systems whereby you can actually extract data that you can end up using for multiple purposes. I'll use an easy one. For instance, it can be a clocking system at an organization. You can be clocking using your fingerprint. So that fingerprint is then taken and it is entered into a software. The software then processes an output of the amount of hours that you've worked. That amount of hours also, or that same system can be accessed by a payments thingy, which also gets those hours and calculates a pay out of just a fingerprint. So it's like an open system which gives or grants access to other things, because they go on here and say most systems are, or most business systems are open systems. For example, a purchasing system whereby you purchase orders and the processing stage contains identifying the items and the quantities that should be ordered and what is the picking orders and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as, let's say you get into a supermarket and you scan a price, you're using that whole barcoding thing. So in that barcode, it has a lot of numbers. But the moment that you scan, that entire system has the ability to even give you the price. And it also gives an option to proceed. Is it a process? Are you going to be purchasing? Sometimes you won't be purchasing, you just be making an inquiry. Is it going to be an inquiry only? Then if it's going to be a purchase, it even has access to the inventory, where it even now starts depleting the inventory records because of what purchase you would have made. So it is an example of an open system. So those are just things that you just have to identify. The moment you see two or more components coming together, you automatically have what they're calling there as a system. So it's not something that should crack your head that much, but it's something that's around us. And the main reason of doing this is just for me to sort of guide you in some of these things, and just to make sure that we break the ice and you're able to proceed. Like you're able to proceed with what you'll be doing, and you'll be proceeding there comfortably. Then they move on to start talking about variables, right? Then you just have to understand something about variables for those who might not have done the basic numeracy, that course basic numeracy from UNISA, which they also give. So a variable is something that can be changed, right? So there's a system variable, it's something that can be changed. So let's say you have a system which speaks to the price of bread. You can change the price of bread at will. You can make bread 10 rand today, you can make bread 15 rand, you can make bread 5 rand, it's yours anyway. But of course, within the parameters of the competition, complaints, commission and stuff. But uh what is it, not the complaints, the competition something, yeah, as long as you don't get in trouble with the competition. But their variables is just saying that it varies, right? A system variable is something that can vary, in as much as we have petrol, for instance, the price of petrol or the price of diesel, right? Today it can be 20 rand, tomorrow it can be 19, tomorrow it can be 21, tomorrow it can increase by 50 cents, it increases by 1 rand, and so those variations. So within a system there are components which can be variable, right? So a variable component within a system, it's something that can easily be controlled. For instance, the price the company charges for its products, right? Remember, if a company is coming up with products, let's call them candles. If you are manufacturing candles, like from end to end, and you have control of the entire chain, you can determine whatever price that you'd want the candle to be going for at whatever time. That is variable. But when you're dealing now with something like a parameter, I would want you to like envision something like a boundary, It's like it's something that can't be controlled. That's what they usually call parameters. So you just have to understand. It's like, again, you can take it from a BNU perspective. When they were saying calculate the parameter of an object, we would add all the sides. Let's say if it's a square, it's gonna be side plus side plus side plus side, meaning the distance right round, meaning not beyond, but just right round. So, for instance, if you have a stock of 100 candles, you only have 100 candles. You can't then change that component to say, no, I have 1,000. If you have physically 100 candles, what you can do is to adjust the price of the candles. But you can't then turn and say, I automatically now have 200 candles because I depleted them. So automatically they're now 200. But what you can do is today your candle is 10 rand, tomorrow it's 11. The day after you can be charging it 9 rand and. But within a system, you have to also analyze, like be at a point of analyzing, okay, which components of this system are changeable, which ones are not. Okay, so the changeable ones become, or the controllable ones, as they're trying to put it here, becomes your variable components. And the ones you can't control, they become your parameters. That will be the system boundaries, or the system limitations, depending on how best you're gonna be like understanding it. Then they go on to system performance management. Remember, system performance management is based mainly on output. Is the system serving the purpose that, and is it, like from the definition, is the system serving the purpose that you, what do you call it, you instigated it for, right? So if the system is content, so you then have to then go and measure that system. Is it helping you achieve the goals? Is it still reaching the common goal? And how best can it be improved? They come up at number 5 there with reasons. That is straightforward, right? So I'm sure by now you're now having a clear understanding of what's what. They're now coming up with like reasons why why systems needs to be changed. There you can just do a study, because if I'm just gonna be repeating it, it's a theory done honestly. Because in any system, for instance, most systems are technological, and with each and every technological advancement, you have to also be able to adopt the newer technology. That's if it serves the purpose and stuff. So that there you can go, and you can go on and study. They go on to talk about system developments. Then they go on to talk about the system development life cycle, the traditional development life cycle, prototyping, and a whole lot of things. The rest is now a theory dump, right? The rest is now a theory dump where they talk about the roles of accountants. We are needed a bit so that you know how you would want the system development, so that at least you know what you'd want, the goals that you'd need from whatever system that you'll be participating in making, really in making. So yeah, that is another theory dump that I'm not gonna explain any further, because you just need to read it further. An information system and IS. An information system is a set of interrelated elements or components that collect input and disseminate data, output, and information, and provide feedback mechanism to meet an objective that is used as an organized way of collecting or processing information, reporting, and decision making. So even if you can see from now at 9, as they're talking about information system, it's they've just added the word information to system, but it's still the same, right? It's still the same concept. It's still the same concept. You system, what is this? System, two or more components for the same goal. So information, so which means it's related to information, but still under the same pretense, or under the same stance, whereby we're taking we now trying to analyze and but still fulfilling the initial goal of what a system is. So I'm more than confident that that is now very, very much understandable. They go on to talk about the role of information systems in and organizations that are important for planning, recording, decision making, control, performance measurements, etc., etc. It's not really complicated. Like, as long as I got you on the first part of the study guide, or the first part of this chapter, you can then proceed to finishing it. Like, and then you'd get your summary. But I wouldn't want you to be too much intimidated by this thing, but do forgive them, because some of the definitions that they gave are a bit vague. So you might need to at least reach out if you are stuck, or try to find a definition of a word, because you can't say you want to cram pass and understand at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So the whole goal is just to get you started, and just to say all the best with your AIN studies. And if I get a chance, I'll definitely do study unit 2 with you. If I don't get a chance, I'm hoping you'll forgive me. Those who will be interested in doing tutorials with me, reach out, and they're an affordable price. We're not gonna kill or break your arm or leg. Do remember to like, do remember to subscribe. From your favorite tutor, Felix. All the best with your studies. Thank you.